and then he'd steer the conversation towards real estate.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah. You guys can turn your cameras on, eh? I don't know if you're actually there or not. Thanks, Craig. How's it going? You're on mute.
Good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, good. Good to meet you. I haven't met you before, have I?
I think I took one of these courses probably about a month ago. I was in between writing my exam and taking the applied practice course.
Nice.
And so now I'm back at it, but actually with a license.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, right on. Right on. So you're taking the classes with Carol.
That's correct. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, right on. That'll get you all the fundamentals you need. We call, like, before you do your first 2 deals, we call it R1. And then after it's R2, and we get into the business and financial side and getting business. And you're always welcome to all the classes that Keller Williams offers. And, you know, I recommend going to as many as possible and, you know, be learning based, try to get as much education as possible. Unfortunately, we can't be in class where you get the different dynamic and, you know, yeah, it's more raw, but this is the next best thing.
Yeah, I hear you. No, Skype training is not easy for everyone. You get the basics, but you don't get the camaraderie and the team spirit, really. So
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining and congrats on getting the license. We're excited. Yeah. Well,
I am too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And Bina, you have an inspection soon?
Yes. Sorry, I was multitasking while I'm watching the meeting. I do. I have an inspection tomorrow at 2 o'clock.
On the buy side or sell side?
On the buy side. I've got 50 million buyers right now. I'm losing my mind. Yeah,
I guess I'll share a conversation that you and I had over email last night. Is being asked whether you should attend the inspection, because it is, you know, for a detached house, they do take 3 or 4 hours. And really, like, you just set up shop and the inspector's going to work. As a buyer's agent or a listing agent, should you be present at the inspection? It was a question. It's a good question. For myself, the answer is always yes. As a listing agent, I want to be there. I want to hear what problems come up, how we can remediate it. I want to be there to protect the listing or the seller. And as a buyer's agent, I'm always there as well. And usually, I just bring my laptop. I get the Wi-Fi address or the Wi-Fi password, and I just go to work for about 2 hours. But I do tell the inspector, you know, if you find something different, if you find something I can learn off of, please let me know. And I use that, you know, 3 to 4 hours as a heavy education side. So next time I see properties and I see issues, I know exactly how much it costs to fix. I know exactly what the causes are, whether it's a deal killer or not. And so every inspection you go to is a huge opportunity to learn. So definitely,
great idea.
Yeah, and then, you know, I've made cold calls from inspections too. Like for the first hour or two, I'll just dial, and then you know, it's not wasted time.
Yeah, that's productive.
For sure. How's everyone else? How's everyone else? Nick, I saw your listing. Is Lynn on the call? I can't. I can only see a few people here. She is not, but I did see your listing on Richmond, and I almost brought a buyer to it. Does that look like it's going to sell?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Which we have, not to brag, we got 3.
The one on Richmond.
Oh yeah, that's Lynn's listing there as part of our team there. So yeah, it's doing really well. There's quite a bit of interest. There is, I do want to add attention to the duplex in Abbotsford.
Okay. Yeah. How did that go?
Well, actually, I had to call up Chris because we had we tried to set a timeline for people to make offers. We got skunked, but the issue is we did initially have essentially an offer asking us to review the offer prior to listing or to potentially pull it, if necessary. And my clients decided that they wanted to go through and wait until Tuesday, which then, that did hurt that offer, unfortunately. So right now we're sitting at no offers still on the market, and unfortunately these guys are a little, I don't know, their expectations are quite high. Like I said, we should adjust the price, and they go, well, do you mean up? And I'm like, well, if you're not getting any interest, right? But
Yeah.
the duplex is really tough. It's tough to figure out what the market is sort of expecting. Like there's nothing wrong with, I don't feel like the price is pretty reasonable. It's in a great location, central Abbotsford. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, and always look at it from a buyer's perspective. There are huge benefits to a duplex, not just always being an end unit, but there's no strata fees as well. You don't have to go through that whole insurance mess right now. Yeah, there's a lot of upsides to having a duplex. So a lot of buyers are gonna, if it's an older duplex, the trade-off is either a new townhouse or an old duplex, and I think that's pretty fair. At this point, you can't really adjust the price up. The free market has spoken.
Yeah.
Have a hard conversation with your sellers. Just say, if we got list price, are you still willing to sell it at that? If the answer is no, then the best thing to do is to pull it off and redo a start and try to drum up extra offers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's I don't know. Unfortunately there's just the only stories we're hearing is that a townhouse, a 45 plus townhouse sold for 500,000 over list price. This is what people are now thinking, is that it's raining gold, right?
I know. Yeah, I just had the same conversation. He's saying, well, this a client of mine, we only got him like $5,000 over list after 4 offers, and he was saying, "Oh, what's going on with the $200,000 over list and the 300,000 I see on the news?" And I said, we could have gotten $200,000 over list if we listed at 500,000, but we chose to list at 725, and then we got $5,000 over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the exact same discussion I had. Exactly. I said, we listed this when Lynn and I, we tag team our CMAs. We both sort of vet them. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a little more liberal and Lynn's a little more conservative. So, we try to find that happy medium. And we felt that this was it, because Lynn wanted to really push for 799, which is probably more realistic. But in terms of when they bought this, that's a $200,000 appreciation. And what they wanted to see was 400,000 or 500,000 appreciate. They want to see 7 figures for this, and it's really difficult to. It's basically, if you have 4 walls in a house, everyone expects 50, 60, 70% above list price, or something ridiculous, or above what they initially paid for, I guess. So.
And the last couple of weeks, I have been hearing the Fraser Valley's been softening. I hear that over and over again. Surrey, Langley, Abbotsford's probably included. So now only the top half that are very well priced are getting offers and multiple offers, and you just got to make it in there.
Yeah.
Is it a whole duplex?
Yeah, I'll just put the MLS up here. The problem with it is that the listing itself, the place itself is reasonable, but it's only 1,400 square feet in total. So although we listed it as 2 bedrooms one side, that's really iffy 2 bedrooms one side, but that was initially how it was listed the first time, and then the other side is a 3 bedroom. So it works. It's not terrible. It's just that I think you have to look at the bigger picture, because this. That's
just the R number, yeah.
The reality is that Abbotsford downtown is going through a whole redevelopment over the next 5 years or so. And there's also this push to 200,000 people. So this is literally central. If you don't know Abbotsford, it's central downtown in a laneway. So it's off the main strip, which is George Ferguson. There's a school there. There's parks all around it. And it's literally 5 minutes away from downtown, which is turning into like this beautiful little place where you can shop, go to have a bite to eat. Eventually it will be an amazing property as you redevelop it. You probably turn it into a house, because every single house in that street is maximize the property as take up the full percentage of it essentially. So anyways, that's kind of how you have to look at it, because I don't think it cash flows as well as most investors looking at it. And then I went through Carol, asked Chris if we can relist it as something else, say single detached, but it has to go under multifamily duplex.
Gotcha.
While we're on the topic of duplexes, do you mind if I ask a quick question for the coaches, or anyone that would know?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I was researching this property that I went to this weekend, and it was a duplex, and it was zoned for RS1, so it was not conforming to the land that it was a duplex, and I want to know what the risks are with someone to purchase this type of property.
This is it's almost over our pay grade. Like, it depends. There's so many factors that it depends on. The city, first and foremost, when it was built, how it's built, the occupancy certificate. Okay, so where is that duplex?
It's let me pull it up here. I'll put the R number in so that you can type it in.
Because I know Vancouver just opened up a lot of their residential to allow duplexes to be built.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Right?
And do you know if these rentals were done with permit?
They were done without permits.
Chris, do you have an opinion on this?
I'm just pulling it up. Hang on.
It's in West Central Maple Ridge, and
Listing, yeah.
It's Rob's listing.
I'd like to say like Maple Ridge is pretty relaxed on their bylaws and zoning, but this is a whole different ball game. I would call.
You gotta. Yeah, I talked to Rob first, just pick his brain, and then what did he have to say?
He said basically it's obviously been there since I think it was 1957, right? So the city's aware of it. They have 2 separate addresses. The only thing is that if it were to ever burn down or you teared it down, that you could only rebuild a single family home, but it being as it is right now isn't a problem. So I wanted to know if you agreed with that.
There's only one PID, it looks like. So
one PID, it's just one property, but has 2 addresses. That's mind-boggling me.
This is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Our duplex is identical. It only has 1 PID, essentially.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like this one is 1959, and everything I read was just that's how it could grandfather under that and still be an A-B side of duplex. So
yeah, you want to keep. I mean, the next buyer, you keep the foundation. You never want to tear the structure down or your toe. So that's just. I mean, you got to get that in writing and talk to the city. Have them give you stuff in writing, email, whatever that explains what it is, and it's grandfathered in, obviously. So.
Right. I'm waiting for a call back from the planning department. I already did the permit history. Obviously, there is none. But what specific questions would I want to ask? Just what happens if this were to ever, like, what kind of questions would I specifically ask?
Yeah, I mean, for starters, yeah, what happens if it burns down? What would be the is there anything in the OCP that leads towards potentially rezoning it and having it multi-family? About the permits, about any outstanding liens or anything that would be on the property. Any
the questions you ask would be related to how your buyer is going to use the property. If they're looking to live in one and then rent the other out, then I'd be a lot more comfortable. It's going to come down to neighbor complaints, whether the bylaw officer is going to knock on their door or not.
Okay.
And so even with unauthorized suites, if there's a ton of neighbor complaints with either parking or noise, then the bylaw officer might come and shut it down.
And then
so if it's a rental building, then it's really important to vet all the tenants.
Oh.
Like there's a higher standard that you have to do background checks and things like that for tenancy.
Yeah, you may be challenged with some parking issues on this lot just because of the location. So
you know what? There's actually tons of parking. That's one thing I'm not worried about because it's got a double garage, which is small. Like you could fit small cars, so it's not ideal, but then you could probably fit another 4 in the driveway, and then around the side of the house, there's another probably 6 car parking.
On York Street.
Yeah, around to, how it's on a corner. So in the front where there's all the parking on the right side.
Yeah.
On the other side of the street, they've sort of built a section on the gravel area with a fence that rolls open for extra parking.
You got a weird little jog in the it'd be interesting to see the land site survey too, just because of the way the road goes and stuff.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that you couldn't subdivide a corner lot. Is that true?
It's harder. Depends on the city. Okay. And a lot of times it's much harder to. So let's say in Poco, you need 66 feet to subdivide the lot. If it's a corner lot, that one corner has a larger setback. It could be like 15 feet. And so now you need more than 66 feet to subdivide a corner lot.
Right.
Yeah. It's also more costly. So you have usually 2 sidewalks, one on each side of the property. Yeah, there's just extra costs.
So that's a good talking point. Like a lot of people, when they have teardowns and they're selling to developers, they think the corner lot is better because it's more private. They have street access, yada, yada, yada. But the developer's always going to look at how much they can build on. And so with the setback rules, they'll look at the corner lot as less valuable than the inside lot.
Gotcha.
And subdividing potential is definitely in their calculation too.
Well, thanks for letting me pick your brain.
Yeah, this will come down to how your buyer's willing to use it and what kind of risk they're willing to tolerate. Like it should be fine how it is. I would get the insurance straight from the seller's insurance too. So, the insurance company doesn't have to go through all these hoops to get it done. But if it's a full rental, then know that, with a few complaints that the whole thing could be shut down and you might have to renovate the whole house to one unit.
Okay, thanks.
That's all.
Thank you.
Just turn it into a hell of an Airbnb.
In Maple Ridge.
Bustling, city of luxury Maple Ridge residents. All right. Good questions for sure. Anybody else?
So, okay, I've had time to kind of mull over your listing, Nick, and I think the best odds of getting a lot for this home is to take it off the market, relist it at like a very aggressive number. Perhaps 700 is the one, but I would have to look at what the other homes are selling for, mainly newer townhouses, like 10-year-old townhouses. Look at it from a buyer's perspective and see how many buyers you can steal from that market. And so remove it, let it marinate for a week, as in like off market for a week, and then put it back on the next Monday. Do the open house Saturday, Sunday, and then try to get more than 2 offers. Yeah.
The thing, the other question is the tenant who's there is on a lease until September, mid-September. And his daughter supposedly is immune compromised. I know they are like very like COVID-19 freaked out kind of thing. And so I actually spoke to the neighbor who said that like the neighbor went over to talk to him about him not cleaning up his dog crap and stuff, and him like basically swearing at him. And I'm wondering if he's been aggressive towards, say, people trying to look at the property too. I'm not sure. But then he plays very nice with me and very nice with the owners, right? When he's talking to them. So the other question was, would it be better to, leave it listed for the next 2 or 3 weeks, see how things go, try and advertise in Surrey and Vancouver. And then if not, just wait until we get closer to September or, around that time.
Yeah, I think so. In that case, I would just leave it for a couple weeks. But, the people who are paying the most right now are the people who need to move in, who've sold and have to buy something. And, having a tenant lease come up in September, that's going to keep them from buying the home or even looking at it. Yeah. Unfortunately, no one can break a lease, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's mutually agreed upon.
Your living space is a condo, right?
Yeah.
It's a very small each side. So getting someone in who's going to buy a townhouse and then move into this, it's really, these guys thinking they're getting $1 million is bananas, man. Like you're
100%.
Your lot value, plus you got like a box sitting on top of the lot, but it's not anything of much value. So,
well, what frustrates me is we were pretty close, I think, to 900.
Yeah, you should take that and run.
Well, unfortunately, the offer didn't come in because they pushed back on waiting till Tuesday. So, mine, and then as I called around, some of the people I know who were interested, they're like farm guys, but they're dealing with investors mostly. Mm-hmm. And so they're just going over, does this cash flow, right? And so in the end, I think they were scared that they didn't want to compete with the open market. That's the whole point. Whereas they probably could have got very close, but now I think, that's the thing is that in their head, they're under the assumption that, it should be getting at least that. Whereas I think 850 would have been just fine.
I think 850 is still probably overvaluing what's it renting for?
It's 1550 on the one side and the owners live on that other side. So you know, I've been saying that I think if you were to, like with that carport, you could unauthorized, of course, but you could probably frame that in, turn it into another bedroom, like an official bedroom, and have like 2 official bedrooms and then 3 on the other, and get just over $3,000, you know.
I'd be hesitant to put any more money into this property.
Yeah.
It's 59.
And I think that's the problem too, right?
Yeah, like you really want to knock it over and utilize the full square footage of the lot. And if you got the duplex zoning, then like run with it, but get the proper, you know, get a 2-story, get a suite downstairs on each, and like then you got 4 families living in there, and then the neighbor will have something to bitch about. So,
well, the house beside it is probably where I would see that lot going. The house is literally edge to edge. It's taking up the maximum percentage, and it's huge. It's like 4,000 square foot with 2 suites. And so that's probably where you're going to go. And the beauty is that there's still ample parking. You know, you can fit 4 or 5 cars, no problem. Plus there's a garage, right? So
working backwards, cost per square foot to build that property, what does it end up like, right? So then you take that number and you work from there down to what a buyer's willing to pay for this.
Yeah.
And show, you know, that's one option. And then you can show that to buyers, also show to your seller and say, this is, I mean, like, it's a dollars and cents game. You guys bought this as an investment more than they are living in on the one side, but you know, you wouldn't have chosen this property for your principal residence if it wasn't an investment.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you work backwards from there, I think you'll come to a number that's hard for them to argue. And that's how people like this, you just have to give them data in order to get their emotional, I want $1 million out, or even 900 is like still just number in the sky because they don't have it on paper. So
yeah.
Good luck. Keep going. No, you gotta just wait them out, right? Just be there for them and answer their questions and just keep providing them feedback, and eventually they come to reality, or Jesus if you're in Abbotsford. So I mean, wherever it is. Good luck.
I am hoping that time, you know, but we'll see. We'll see.
Cool.
Sounds good. I just posted a form on the chat box to enter your numbers, so please do so. Put in how many people you talked to, how many hours of lead gen you did, how many listing appointments, listings you got. If it's a 0, just put in 0. We just want to see everyone like fill it in. We'll go over what we're doing with the softball tournament or game that we created. So we're going to take everything from these forms. And the other important thing is once we have our lead gen page up, and so we're passing on leads to agents based on who's completing these forms in order. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes just to complete that.
Did you run through, have you run through the slide deck around that? No, not yet.
The slide deck?
Well, Carol's thing. Carol's.
Oh, yeah. No, it's in today.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
There's a reason for all these numbers. We're excited. I like competition. It's as sporty as we get these days.
Yeah, we miss actually going out and actually playing softball. So, hey, if there's any softball players out there, like Keller Williams has a team that we play all the other realtors in the summer. I think this summer we'll actually have it. So, yeah, join us. It's good times.
That sounds so fun. Really?
Yeah.
Softball team? That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's one day.
There's tournaments one day in Maple Ridge and one day in Tri-Cities. So we have kind of teams for both, but usually the same team, but we get to play in both because of our offices, and maybe one in Surrey, actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Iris, that was a softball team. Softball team.
But yeah, it's,
Prior experience? Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I have no experience in softball, but I'd love to join if I can.
Yeah.
I think it's open to all. You'll need a glove and a little experience helps as far as just like protecting yourself because there are people that play a lot and then they hit the ball pretty hard, so you don't want to just be standing around hoping things work out. So other than that, I'll say you're welcome to come on out. So when we open up,
When we open up, yeah, and we also have a hockey team that we play CFox for the Children's Hospital as well. So we raise I don't know, $500 to $1,000 every year for a little shinny game.
Last year we were actually trying to get the LC was on getting like a urban rec league together where we have a gym we rent it out like once a week or a couple times a month, and then be able to go play soccer or volleyball or dodgeball or basketball or whatever, and just kind of keep people engaged and active and having fun. And then COVID hit, so we decided not to do that, but hopefully we can get that running again soon and just stay healthy and have some fun. And yeah,
it's nice to see everyone outside the office too.
Yeah, have a beer afterwards. What's that like? So one of these days. All right, you get that sorted.
Let's see here. There, share, sent. Alrighty, am I good there? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the slide. Thanks. All right, so today's lesson plan is how to leverage Craigslist in order to get leads, get buyers, get sellers. You know, I know some people have worked with buyers so much and seen 50 houses and lost 8 offers, and they're like, I don't want any more buyers. They're like, nope, no buyers. But I promise you that when there's an up in any market, there's always a down. And I would highly recommend filling your pipeline with buyers. Imagine if you filled your pipeline with sellers 6 months ago into this market or a year ago into this market. And I think that's what Ackerman you did, is that now that the market's hot and they can cash out an extra $100,000 to $300,000, they're looking to sell, cash out, move somewhere far. And so we want to do the flip side, is we can fill our pipeline with buyers using Craigslist today. So our exercise is called Make Your Phone Ring with Craigslist. Ooh, that's hard for me to say. Make your phone ring with Craigslist. So everyone knows what Craigslist is, right? Like, I don't have to go over the basics of Craigslist. We're all good there. Everyone's like posted, everyone's bought stuff, everyone's sold things on Craigslist. Yes. So what we're doing is we're leveraging Craigslist. Go ahead, Zay.
Sorry, no, I was saying, yeah, everyone's familiar with Craigslist. Everyone's hopefully not been scammed on there at least once. So tickets, Canucks tickets or something.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not concert tickets.
And that's funny you bring that up, because that's one of the things about Craigslist, you know, for sale by owners and stuff, is that like you're gonna sell your property on a place where you can get scammed on Craigslist or on stuff, and you gotta wonder why people go there. But it's certain people just, that's what they gravitate towards. So, but it works. This is like every time we do this class, like people get 3 to 5 leads just from following along here. So take your notes. And anyone use 5 leads in their inbox this week? On their phone. If not, then I'll take them. You guys gladly pass them to me, and we'll figure out something to do with them. So this works. So this is just like part of your day, part of your week, whatever time you put in your schedule. This will work, and you can do it consistently, and it's amazing. So the magic begins.
keep in mind, from a customer's perspective, when you as an agent call them, you're a salesperson, but when they call you, you're a professional to them. So, this is your opportunity to say, hey, look at me, I'm a realtor, I have a listing available that you can buy, call me. And then they're going to look at you as a professional. Okay, so the steps are pretty simple. You got to post first, and then you got to nail down your scripts. You got to nail down the market. You got to really have your finger on the pulse of the market, because that's when you're going to show off how much better you are at this than other agents. And then you're going to get the calls later. The calls will come in. So, if you have a listing, fantastic. Like Nick, definitely post that Abbotsford duplex as an investment, as like a great investment. Yeah, and other people, with your permission, Nick, they can post the duplex too. Well, maybe not, because then we'll just have doubles in this class. But ask around. We have 320 agents in Keller Williams. Let me see how many listings we're sitting at right now.
What I would suggest is choose an area that you already work in, you're comfortable with, you're familiar with. You're going to want to pick up buyers that are looking in your farm, and a product that's going to be moving. So if you're choosing like a luxury and more home, and you don't work in Amor, and you don't expect it to sell real quick, and you're not going to be, most people aren't shopping on Craigslist for $3 million homes. So condos, duplexes, townhouses, tear down foreclosures, right? Stuff that people are looking for shiny opportunities, like lower end stuff. Don't go too high. You're going to have other existing relationships with other realtors already too. So it's just less likely to convert.
So right now we have 123 current listings in the office. First we want you to ask their permission to post it on Craigslist. Again, like Nick, you have that duplex. If you already posted on Craigslist, you're probably not as welcome to other people posting on Craigslist, because now there's 10 of them and it looks like it's just getting spammed. So always call the listing agent for permission. The conversation sounds like this. Ring, ring. Hey, Chris.
Hello.
Hey, Chris, I see you have a new listing in River Springs.
Yeah, it just came up. It's looking good.
Right on. It's Hiroshi from the office. Do you mind if I post that on the website, on my website, and on Craigslist to look for buyers for your home this week?
No. Don't bring me buyers.
Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, devastating. Any agent from any brokerage will say yes, unless they have some sort of fear of loss mindset. And next.
Yeah, and now we can't even represent buyers for our own listing anyway. So it's not like you're taking away from their marketing. The play is to post it on Craigslist, find a buyer for that house, and if that house doesn't work, then we're going to find them something else in the area. And that's how the script works out too. So once
you don't have to use KW agents if you like a certain listing, it's a foreclosure or something that just is a great fit, and it's going to get a lot of eyes on it and be a good hook. You can use the first picture on MLS with reciprocity, and you don't have to ask permission. It's still nice to do it, but you can just do this. This is something you could do like 30 of these a day and just not bother asking permission and just go through and do it. But if you want to use the extra photos, and you don't want to use too many, of course, but anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, for sure. So the next step is to post it on Craigslist. Like Facebook, funny enough, doesn't have a lot of success because how the people message you instead of calling you. And so as soon as you start asking them, what other homes are they looking for, they'll just shut down and they'll move on. So it's hard to get like a two-way conversation going with Facebook. But Craigslist, they'll call you and you have their phone number and you can follow up with them too. Iris asked, does it have to be from your brokerage only? As long as you get permission, and then once you get their permission, as long as you say courtesy of, you know, Century 21 or Team 3000 on the Craigslist post, you can post, you can create the ad. Post on Craigslist, Facebook. So yeah, Craigslist is still the winner for as a lead gen source, as opposed to Facebook, but you can boost your post on Facebook too. Okay, so
Kijiji?
Yeah, Kijiji is good too. You know, these things take 2 minutes to post, so you have a really good dollar per hour ratio. But I find like if I post on Craigslist and Kijiji, it's about 10 to 1. If I ask everyone where they found the post.
Yeah, but in the Valley, actually, I find that a lot more people shop on Kijiji in Chilliwack, Abbotsford, Aldergrove, like maybe Langley even. So I think you definitely will have more success on Kijiji out there.
Yeah. The same weirdos using Bing as a search engine as using Kijiji to buy stuff. Okay, so the next point, limit info and photos. You don't want to give away everything, because what the buyers are going to do, what the people looking are going to do is they're going to eliminate the listing if you give away too much, right? You want to give away the basic information, perhaps the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, but you know, if it's completely renovated inside and it looks like a brand new home, but the outside is 50 years old or whatever, you don't want to say it's a 50-year-old home, because you want that incoming call. Because if you get really good at your scripts and your dialogue, you know, they may eliminate the house during your conversation, but then you can pick them up as a buyer and you can help them in their process. Does that make sense? So again, with photos, we can put 40 photos online on Paragon, but you only want to use, I'd say 1 to 5 on Craigslist. 5 is for a big house with, you know, some nice kitchens and bathrooms, but call it 3 photos would be a good balance. And the last point is don't put the price on. And the reason is that's your bait, okay? We're trying to cast a big net to catch as many fish as possible. And the bait is that you don't post the price. So when they call you, you already know what the question is. Are we good there? Questions? Awesome. Okay, so the next step before you get really excited and post, because if you don't get really good at your script here, you're just gonna get the incoming calls and then you're not gonna close them for a meeting, or you're not gonna close them for a buyer's appointment. So the script is, the good thing is the script that we use here for a Craigslist post is the exact same as a sign call. And so you have to know it, because once you start listing homes, you're going to need to use the exact same script to close future buyers as well. And we call them sign calls because you know, people drive by signs, and when they drive by a home in the neighborhood, whether they're walking their dog or their buyer's looking, they don't know what the price is. So it's very similar to a call that they find on Craigslist. And so they'll say, "Hey, you're the realtor with the sign on 123 Main Street. How much is it?" And the better you dial down your script there, the more you'll close these people as a buyer. Point number two is really know the market. So if you're going to post something on Craigslist, know exactly what's sold in that neighborhood and what's active. And for bonus marks, if you know what's coming into the market but not on, you could potentially be their realtor of choice because you have insider knowledge. But you don't want to post, like, I'm a Tri-Cities guy. I don't want to be posting things out in Mission and Vancouver and Burnaby because I have no idea what their inventory is. But 5 kilometers around my house, I know exactly what they are. I've been inside the houses. And once I've been inside and they sell, I know what the prices are too. So I'm always one step ahead of the buyer. And that's the value that you can give when they call you. And like, that knowledge prolongs these conversations, and it goes from hey, how much is it? Oh, 1.5 million. Okay, thanks, bye. Like, that's too much. Okay, thanks, bye. From that 10-second conversation into a 10-minute conversation. So yeah, I'm sure, like, you already know what your neighborhood sells for, so a great place to start would be to post a Craigslist ad for a listing in your neighborhood or where your buyers have been looking. So if you have a buyer in New Westminster for $500,000 condos right now, and you know that Lynn's got an awesome listing on Richmond, then you can say, you know what, there's 2 listings in this building and there's another one next door. It doesn't have in-suite laundry. How does that work out for you? And and that's the value that you give. And that knowledge will prolong the conversation, and then you'll build a relationship, and then you can help them along the way. Make sense? Awesome.
Did you touch on overpricing, over market value? Is that what you're just talking about? Like,
not at all. Go ahead.
As far as Nick's listing as an example, so Nick's got we'll call it an $850,000 value duplex. And so Nick finds another duplex that's worth $1 million. It's a little shinier. And he promotes that on Craigslist, does that on Kijiji, and no price on it. And people are calling on it saying, hey, what's up with this property? So, it's actually listed at $1 million. And like, oh, well, we can only afford $850,000. Oh, well, guess what? I actually happen to have another property that's just down the street from that that's actually perfect for you guys. So everyone has a champagne tasting beer budget. So if you promote another property in a higher price point, even in the same condo or building or complex as a 4-bedroom, you have a 3-bedroom unit, you can literally turn buyers out of thin air for your listing using another listing above it. So that might be a good use of your time as well, Nick, is to spin some other listings buyers into yours. So
yeah, and let your sellers know during the listing presentation. Tell them that you go above and beyond. Just everyone can get the professional photos done, the Matterport, but not a lot of realtors think of this strategy where they're going to say, you know what, we're going to sell yours at $800,000, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start promoting listings at $1 million so I can capture buyers who have that champagne taste in the beer budget. Not that yours is a beer home. We're not calling you the Pabst Blue Ribbon of homes. However, once we capture that person who's seeking that $1 million home but can't afford it, we'll bring them to yours. How does that sound?
Yeah, you can use Facebook in this sense if you really want to wow them. There's a whole class on how to do it, but to basically promote a $1 million home when you're going into an $800,000 listing, and then you spend $10 on promotions, and then you come back with 30 buyer leads from that promotion on the $1 million home, and you show up at that listing appointment and go, hey, look at here, I got 30 buyers already for your home for my promotions, and I was just promoting another one to show you what we could potentially do. Can you see why working with me would be a really good decision? So
yeah, for sure. And then once you do get the calls, build rapport first. Ask them why they're looking to move, where they're from. Have they seen anything they liked before? Like, these are all scripts that you should be practicing. Ask great questions. No closed-ended questions, no yes or no questions. And close for the appointment.
the trick is that they're going to ask for the price right out of the gate. hey, how much that play? How much is it? How much is it? How much is it? And your job is to defend and continue to, oh, just looking that up. Hang on a sec. Just hold on. Crinkle on paper. Just looking. Oh, I got all these listings I'm going through. By the way, while I've got you on the phone, what are you looking for? How much? When are you looking? How long are you looking for? So keeping the conversation going while you're buying yourself time. Obviously, you know how much it's worth, but they don't know that. So you're just a very busy realtor trying to get the information to them. And while you're chatting with them on the phone, how long can you keep them on for before giving the price? Because as soon as you give them the price, what do? Hello? Hello?
It sounds a lot like this call. They go quiet and hang up.
Quite quiet on the other end all of a sudden. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's how you practice this. That's how you role play. It's like, hey, how much, like, play it like it's real play, that you practice like it's real play, that they're asking for the price right off the bat. And if you just say, nope, hold on until I give you the price, you have to play like you're a little disorganized trying to get all your stuff in order. So there's a little sneakiness to it, but it works. We'll show you how it works here in a sec.
Try to build as much rapport as possible before giving them the price. Okay, so what do you post? 6 areas that you could start from is post 1 detached house, 1 townhouse, 1 condo. Foreclosures we don't really see, so I'll replace that with something here. An investment property would be amazing right now. And I say that because in 6 months, a year to 2 years, when we're in a buyer's market, those investors are all going to be buying.
I'd say you can find foreclosures before we go too far ahead. There's definitely estate sales, foreclosures, opportunities for investors, right? So power of attorney
and fixer uppers, so flips. You know, in a heavy seller's market like we're in now, the flippers are making a ton of money. They're, you know, they're vacant. They're beautiful. You don't have to renovate the homes, and they're move-in ready. So a buyer could move in 3 weeks. So those desperate buyers that we were talking about who have to move in, these are the listings that are, you know, $50,000, $100,000 over list, because now they're competing against each other for a quick close. So yeah, fixer uppers are really good. The one thing in a really busy market like this is that you have to update your Craigslist weekly. Before, when it took 40 days to sell a listing, we could just refresh something over and over until it sells. But you know, if Mondays are your for sale by owners, Monday leg day for sale by owners, then Tuesday it could be your, you know, wake up and post 6 homes on Craigslist days. So instead of like foreclosures, I think Chris is looking right now. Does everyone know how to find foreclosures specifically on Paragon?
Court ordered sales.
Correct. So yeah, you go to features. So you go to search attached or search detached. And then under the parameter called features, there's 3 spots that you can fill. On the first one that says you must have, you put in court ordered sale. And so foreclosures are great. Like people have created foreclosure websites in order to capture buyers, investors. So instead of right now, instead of foreclosures, I would focus on bare land. So that would be another piece of Craigslist advertising that I would put on. There's always bare land, like I'm being advertised out in Maple Ridge or Mission. And who's looking at bare land?
Develop.
Sorry?
I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
Yeah. Someone tell me who's looking at buying bare land?
You guys got to unmute more often. This is painful. There you go. Thanks, Greg.
Developers.
Developers, yeah. And the deal that most developers give is that if you find me the piece of property, then I'll give you the listing for the house once it's developed, and that's called a list back. And so, again, bare land, if you post it on there, you'll be talking to developers. They all do their own research, so the chances are that they've already seen or heard of this property that's on MLS. But it's your job to ask them good questions and say, how can I help you? What are you looking for? What budget are you looking in? If I help you purchase the property, help you find the property, will I get the list back? Yeah.
I got
and
a
once
question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought
No,
you
no,
were done. With land, because one of my clients, we looked into land for a bit because they're first-time home buyers, and they were wondering if they could throw like a trailer up on the land until they have enough money to build a place. Is that allowed?
Yeah, should be okay.
Should be okay. Depends on the city. The banks hate lending on land, so they do require between 35 and 50% down payment.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of got into that, and that's why we shied away.
If there's a shack on it, like an unlivable shack, they'll lend on it. Usually 20% down, but it's case by case, and this is why you need subject to financing for our offers, because the banks lend based on the actual property itself.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Good question. But yeah. Right now, I would post land. The main reason why we post everything on Craigslist is to cast a net for fishing buyers. And the people who are looking on Craigslist now they're not buyers for 2 to 6 weeks. They're buyers for like sometime in the future who've exhausted realtor.ca. So they're like the 3-month to 6-month buyers. Iris asks, what about row of houses that have been rezoned for a condo? Are you asking like if we can sell them or if we can post them on Craigslist?
No, like, do you approach developers and say, like, how do you go about that? Because I have a friend that has a house that has been rezoned. It's in Port Coquitlam, right by the community center there, or the new community center that they've renovated or whatever, fixed up. But yeah, like he's at the end of the block, and there's like, I don't know, like 8 houses down the block they've all been rezoned for that. So how do you go about doing that or figuring that out?
The land.
And your friend,
yeah, good.
Your friend lives in one of the houses?
Yes.
Essentially, all the neighbors have to meet and see if everyone's willing to sell, see if everyone's on board. We call this the real estate lotto, is when the house that you're on gets rezoned for a higher density. That's your opportunity to get 1.5 double or triple of what your house is worth right now. And so there has to be a very seasoned realtor guiding this whole process. Has your friend been approached by a realtor yet?
No, I mean, we work with him a lot. Like we bought properties with him, but now that I'm a realtor, he thinks I'm his realtor. But yeah,
for sure. So yeah, the opportunity is definitely there. the first step is to get all the neighbors in conversation, like knock on their door, introduce yourself, to see if they're willing to move and on what terms. You still have a customer relationship with everybody, and then once you see you have like an idea of who's going to move, then you can go into what could be built and what developers you can approach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a very long, tedious, like it's just one of those things that you don't want to invest your entire time on. This is like the side gig that if it comes to fruition, it will be like a $5 to $10 million sale.
Okay.
But it's a long process, but there's a lot of opportunity for everyone. Like the sellers will get paid very handsomely for their house. Obviously the commission on the sell is big, and the developer, it's their business too.
Okay.
But it sounds like the ball's rolling, so I would get on it before anyone else does. If you'd like for us to like point you in the right direction or have a conversation with us, we'd be happy to later.
Yeah, you just need to know the conversation, the questions to ask, obviously your friend, but also then their neighbors, and seeing how many houses in a row agree to it, and then figuring out basically what their number looks like, and then you can do a feasibility study and pro forma and so forth, and that's where probably out of your expertise at this point. So you bring in someone that can navigate that, and if it's in POCO, we got lots of people that can do that. So yeah,
it all leads to Trevor Street. So Trevor does a lot of pre-sales and developments. So he talks to a lot of developers in the area too, and he'll educate you, and he'll bring you in on the deal.
In all fairness, he already knows about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Trevor Street.
Like road, but street.
And it's not a stage name that he brought up when he got into real estate. That's like his actual last name, which is pretty crazy. Alrighty. So any questions on this slide? Post often, post many that are in your area, and then educate yourself on that. No questions? Right on.
Moving along.
So here's the script that's I would put the script in your top 5 in your repertoire, because these things come up. Like this call comes up probably twice a month. People will call you. Sometimes they'll email you off of realtor.ca, and it's the exact same conversation. They might know the price of the home, but they don't know what the rental restrictions are, the pet bylaws are. They want to know which way the place is facing. Like buyers call you for a reason, and it's your job to flip that script into building rapport and seeing if you're the right agent to help them. Can you please post a copy of the notes? Yes. Let me know if this works or not.
It's good.
So it's 2 pages, and it starts off. It's an incoming call, so they'll say, "I'm calling on 123 Main Street. How much is it?" And so, Sean Kokoska, who's Diana Kokoska's son, sold 200 houses on the buyer end. Sold 200 buyer side per year using scripts like this. And what he says is the first 30 seconds you have to use to gain control of this conversation. And how do you gain control of a conversation? He says, whoever's asking the questions has control. So Chris and I, we used to play a game where we had like a talking stick or a ball. And then every time you ask a question, you would hand over the ball. No, you would receive the ball. So you want control of the ball, you want control of the situation, the conversation, and you want to be the one asking questions.
That's a really fun exercise to script with, by the way. If you guys want to just like sharpen your skills, if you're continuously asking questions until you corner the other person, it's I'm not sure I'm ready to do it right now. I got to think about it a bit, but yeah, it's a very good way to control a conversation in life, by the way. So
yeah, and so it's almost like that thing where it's like, you know, you have 7 seconds to make a good first impression. Same thing as on the phone. So the first thing you want to do is mirror and match the other person's tone. You know, if they're a deep personality, if they're just like very direct and curt, and they're like, "How much is this house?" Then you want to be like, "Oh, hey, who am I talking to?" Right off the bat. If they're an old, nice lady who speaks very slowly and quietly, you want to do exactly that and mirror and match their tonality. You know, a great topic is NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. There's great books on it. It talks about mirroring and matching and the importance of using pauses in your speech, so you can put in keywords that the customer will identify with. All right, so the script goes, they say, I'm calling on 123 Main Street. How much is it? Now, you want to be like energized, like jazzed up. You're getting an incoming call. All this work and practice that you've done on Craigslist is now finally coming to fruition, and you're finally getting your phone to ring. Like, everyone thinks their phone's going to ring once they get their real estate license. I'm sorry, it doesn't. But if you post it on Craigslist, yes, this is your opportunity to have your phone ring and people call you. So yes, you want to get energized. You want to like stand up, do your push-ups, and then you want to go, yes, that's a great property. Everyone's calling on that one. So you must be another neighbor, or are you looking to buy a home? See where there's like these ellipses before buy a home? In our scripts in Keller Williams, like those little ... just means that you have to pause before you say buy a home.
Hey, zoom in your
Oh, sorry.
People are probably following along, but it's probably worth zooming.
Whoa. Here we go.
Yeah, good.
So these 3 ellipses here. So they say, oh, fantastic. That's a great property. Everyone's calling on that one. So you must be one of the neighbors, or are you looking to buy a home? And that comes from NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming, where if you pause, everyone's going to listen to what happens after the pause. Okay. And so whether it's a neighbor or a buyer, like I have scripts that go both ways, because if it's a neighbor, they might be looking to sell a home. Okay. No leads wasted. So Chris, thanks for calling on that one. Are you a neighbor, or are you a nosy neighbor, or are you looking to buy a home?
No, I'm actually looking to buy, yeah.
Well, fantastic. While I get the information, tell me, what attracted you to this home? Another great question, because it's open-ended. What attracted you to this home?
Well, it looks like good curb appeal, you know. It looks like the neighborhood. We're close to the school that we want to get our kids into.
And sorry, who am I talking to?
Chris.
Okay, and this is your number, 604-778-2121.
Yep, that's it, sort of.
Gotcha. Now, I assume because you're calling me directly, I don't want to step on anyone's toes. Are you working with an agent right now?
No, not really.
Okay, well, sorry, I botched that. I assume since you're calling me directly, you're not working with an agent?
Yeah, correct. I don't have anyone.
So with permission of the listing agent, we can advertise other agents' listings on Craigslist with the intent of lead gen. Yes, and if it's outside the brokerage, you have to say courtesy of whatever brokerage.
If you've signed the reciprocity agreement with the board, which you all should have, Keller pretty much puts that in your paperwork when you sign up, but some brokerages don't, just so you know. So I think Angel Hasman is the only one I know for sure that don't, but at the end of the day, don't worry about it. That's West Van.
Yeah.
Moving on. Yeah.
Okay. So we noticed that, you know, Chris called to say, I'm looking at your listing on 123 Main Street. How much is it? And I haven't told him the price yet. I've completely gained control of the conversation. I'm energized. I'm jazzed up. I say, I got his name. I got his phone number. I'm trying to make as much rapport as possible right now and find out what he's looking for before I give him the price. You're going to get some people who are going to be like, what's the price? I asked you 3 times already. Give me the price. And of course you should, but right now your objective is to create as much rapport and conversation as possible before you give away that information. Fair?
What's the price?
Oh yeah, I'm just pulling that up for you right now. While my computer is loading, where do you live now? Just out of curiosity.
Coquitlam.
Oh, Coquitlam, right on. I grew up in Coquitlam too. I went to Centennial and everything. Which part of Coquitlam are you from?
Burke Mountain.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Those are nice houses. Well, are you looking to move then? What's taking you from Burke Mountain up into this 2-bedroom condo that we have?
We live in a tent. We're just hoping to own a home.
Oh, okay. You're sorry, you said you own a home or you're renting?
No, we live up at the top of Burke in a tent. So we're looking
okay, right near that gun range.
Yeah, it's quite loud. The kids can't sleep.
Yeah, I understand. And so, what attracted you? I already asked this. What attracted you to this neighborhood? I forgot what you said.
Yeah, where do we live now? We live in a condo in downtown Poco, and we're looking to upgrade into a bigger one. So.
Okay, onto a bigger one.
Yeah, I won't mess with you too much.
So, how many people in your household now in your tent?
Just myself and my wife. So we're looking for maybe have a baby in the future and get a 2-bedroom here.
Okay, well, fantastic. Yeah, this is in a good area. It's in a good family area. There's a park nearby.
Mm-hmm.
What price range are you comfortable with?
Well, I think we can afford up to 500.
500, eh? Gotcha. And that's been pre-approved by a mortgage broker?
No, we just went online and did the old plug-in numbers and my income and whatnot and her income, and that's what they said with the online calculator.
With the online calculator, awesome. Well, that's always a good exercise to go through. You know, to deal with affordability and things. I always recommend you to speak to different brokers to be certain that you're getting the best deal, though. And I have a really amazing broker. His name's Craig, that I can get him to give you a quick call. It'll take 15 minutes, and if you feel confident that you're going to get the best rate and product, and then that way you'll feel confident that you're going to get the best rate and product. How does that sound?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're probably going to go into our bank and have a chat when it comes down to it. But you know, why you think Craig is going to give us a better deal?
I'm confident that he will. Yeah, he works with a lot of my clients, and they always have good things to say about him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to definitely have a chat with him. Makes sense, I guess.
Okay, sounds good. You know, just to let you know, the price of this home is a little bit outside your budget. So if, you know, Craig might get you a better rate that leads to a higher budget with the same monthly payments, then this home might fall into it. But right now, you know, I could, off the top of my head, I could think of 3 homes that came up on the market today that are under 500 that I could send you.
Okay.
What's your email address?
Blah blah Gmail.
Thanks, blah blah Gmail. It's definitely a real email address.
Yeah.
Okay, and how long have you been looking for a home?
Yeah, a couple months now. I say probably beginning of the year we started really looking.
Mm-hmm. And ideally, when do you want to be in the new home?
I guess by summer.
Okay, well, we're talking June, July.
Yeah, if that works.
Okay. In that case, I'd like to meet with you as quick as possible. I say that because we're coming on to the end of March, and once we start looking, it usually takes about a month to find something, and then we still need 2 months to close on the property. So if we find something in April, now we need all of May and June to close on the property. So if I get together with you and your wife this week, I'm going for the close, then we can get you into that home in June. Would that sound all right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I should probably talk to my wife about it. I think we're still kind of on the fence about where we're doing and where we're looking and stuff, but maybe chat with her and see what she says. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, for sure. I want all the decision makers to be there too. So let me ask if it's okay with your wife. Would it be okay with you to meet and sit down for half an hour?
Yeah, I guess that would be fair.
Yeah, why don't we do this? Let's pencil in a time that works for you and I right now, whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday evening, and check in with your wife. If we have to reschedule, if she can't make it and we have to reschedule, call me back. You have my number. Otherwise, we'll meet tomorrow evening if you have time at the tent in Burke Mountain.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll start a fire.
Yeah.
Good.
So that way, yeah, Craig will call you today. You can get your financial pre-approval done. Once we get together, we'll have all the ducks in a row, and we can start looking.
Makes sense. Okay.
All right. So realistically, this conversation's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it. It usually takes that long for them to gain enough trust that you have market knowledge, that you can help them beyond how they're helping themselves online. So the football analogy that we use is the buyers now are so educated. They know exactly what they're paying. They know the closing costs. They know what's on the market. They've done all the research online. And so the 21st century buyer, they know almost everything to get their search started. They don't need a realtor, correct? So the football analogy is they're trying to score this touchdown. They don't need a realtor for the first 50 yards, but they're looking for a realtor to get them past the last 50 yards where we have to help them. We have to help them write an offer, right? Get the closing dates together, to put in line like all their financing, their inspector, help them with strata docs. Like that's what they're looking for our help. And so we have to bring that to their attention that we're not there for the first 50 yards. They can do that themselves. They can look at properties and send the R numbers to us while we're trying to sleep at 11 p.m. Where we bring value is the last 50 yards. Make sense?
Big takeaway from this script are what Hiroshi did is having some extras in your back pocket. So when you do this post, if you have a 2-bedroom condo in Poco, you better have a couple others that are shiny, nice, a little less lower price point, and say, okay, great, I got a couple others we can show you. When's a good time for us to go out and look at those? How does Thursday at 4 o'clock work? Why don't we meet on Tuesday? We'll go get a coffee and talk about that. Before I'm meeting with you, I want Craig or your mortgage broker to have a conversation with you. He'll call you this afternoon, what time works for you, and he'll just get their financing in order. So you have to get this assembly line set up before you start expecting these calls. Otherwise, you're going to go meet them at the property and you're going to spin your wheels with someone who can't afford it because they don't have a job or they're COVID laid off or whatever. And you're going to not have anything to show them if you haven't got that part sorted out. So be prepared for your phone to ring and then be prepared to actually close for the appointment. So the first appointment is ideally get a cup of coffee, go through the buyer consult with them. No one does this, right? People just kind of meet the property and see what happens. And that's not a way to build a business. It's not a system that you put in place. I'm shooting from the hip and hoping it works out. And I don't want to put my family's needs for me to be employed to shoot from the hip and hope it works out. You need to have a system set up and in place, and that's going to work out very well. And they won't all turn into a listing appointment, or some will turn into a listing appointment as well, right? So I could easily had to sell my condo to move up. So you just don't know. So you need to be prepared to the conversation if they were selling, which Hiroshi didn't touch on this part too, right? So.
Right. Yeah. So do you need to sell your tent?
Yeah. Well, that's why I changed it to the condo in Poco, just to say we're looking to get into a bigger one, just so that was an opportunity instead of being a smart ass. But the point being is you guys having that system in place, having it ready to go before your sign calls start coming in, so that you can right away say, yeah, I got a couple great ones over here. Probably haven't seen them yet. What's your email? I'll send them over. I'll book us a time. Like being proactive, they're going to love that, right? These guys are like calling listing agents hoping that it works out. Now you've got someone on their side fighting for them and doing all the due diligence. Oh, that building's not great because the depreciation report says blah. I just saved you. Man, thank you, right?
Yeah. So again, like this script it's key. So what I would do is best use of time right now is to write out. Oh, I can't. I was trying to highlight. Okay, from here, this O up until here. Do you own your home or are you renting? I would write this out 10 times every morning for 2 weeks until it's memorized completely. And then when you get that sign call or someone asks you, hey, what's the pet by law in that listing you have? You'll be like, oh, that's a great property. Everyone's calling on that one. They'll be like, what? Where did that come from?
But the reason that's a great property is it's exciting. Oh man, everyone, you are calling a hot listing. You better take action. You better listen to what I'm saying, or now you're going to miss out on it. Everyone's calling on it. And so the other part of that, oh, that's a great property, is every time Hiroshi and I say that, it goes click, 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 click. Okay, this is a conversation I'm about to have. Because there's too many scripts to just be able to rattle them off. And at the beginning, you need to train your brain to be able to pull that one out of your Rolodex and go, okay, it's a sign call. What do I need to know? Are they a seller? Are they a buyer? Are they looking to purchase? And then, well, I'm looking that information up. What attracted you to this home? And then I'm going to get control. And that's how that conversation works every time when you practice it or you wing it. And you're standing in line at the grocery store and you're trying to have a conversation with someone like, oh, how does it go next? And I'd rather you guys say, hey, I'm just on another call. Can I call you back? Or can I'm driving right now. Would you mind if I gave you a call back? And then you pull over and you pull this script up on your computer and I don't care if it's on your phone, you go on to speakerphone and you have this script in front of you and you make the call using the script. Because if you're not using the script in front of you until you've done this like 50 times, you're missing out on opportunities. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't have the ability to miss out on leads yet. I'm not rich enough. So every one of these calls that comes in is an opportunity. So don't wing it. Cool. And yeah, this is very easily turns buyers into your database. It's an amazing, you're going to be blown away when you guys actually do this. I look forward to hearing how it goes next week.
Yeah. And the point is to get that appointment. Alrighty, so to review and as part of your homework, choose a listing, post it on Craigslist, share and boost it on Facebook.
Does anyone have any challenges with that? Does that seem easy enough to do? If you need help, do you need us to rip through finding where foreclosures are, like by sharing our screen, or how to post on Craigslist, making sure that it's Craigslist by broker, right? Not by owner when you're posting. Everyone got that? I'm not sure everyone touched on that, but.
Alrighty.
Good. No,
Any
TJ,
questions?
really good question. Is that minimal, right? Minimal information. So 3 bedrooms, 1 photo, 2 photos, foreclosure, like some key calls to action, call for more information, and that's it, right? Call TJ today to view this property. And, you probably put like, it's a Surrey condo or whatever, but you don't necessarily put too much more than that. Otherwise, if you give all that information, they're like, oh, I can just scratch it off my list. I don't need that one.
Yeah.
Less is more.
What's another good advertising, like marketing campaign would be is like buyers don't always care about what they're paying in terms of like the actual cost of the home. They care about what their monthly payment's going to be. So to say you could live in this home for $2,500 a month on approved credit with 20% down, with 10% down, might generate some calls as well.
Yeah, someone is paying $2,500 in rent versus like, okay, well, if you have $40,000 and you put that down, then you're paying $25,000 for your own property. Just do that real quick math, whatever that looks like.
Yeah. Kiss your landlord goodbye. Move in for $2,500 a month on approved credit.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. No bad ideas.
Well, you see them. They work.
Yeah.
And Nick's could work with his duplex again, right? Because you got to, that's a pretty heavy $1,500, I think, for a 700 square foot kind of looks like rundown duplex. Maybe you get that in Abbotsford. It seems a little heavy for what it is, but
yeah.
So it's good. It's good income. I would say that would cover a lot of your mortgage.
Yeah. Any questions before we move on from Craigslist? We're pretty much finished there. So in our coaching, like obviously we're thankful that all of you are in it. Right now we have R1 and R2. So again, to reiterate, anyone who's done 2 or less deals, your direct contact is Carol, and you are in R1. It stands for Red 1, red as in Keller, Pit in the Town red, whatever. But this is so R1 and R2 is so we can all speak the same language within different Keller Williams offices. And Chris, myself, Amin, and Carol, we have a coach, and so she's told us to differentiate between R1 and R2. R1, you've done 2 or less deals, you're working on your fundamentals, your contracts, your listing presentations, your scripting. Well, you're always scripting. And then R2, once you've done your first 2 deals, you're reporting to myself or Amin. And in that case, if you're an R2, then you are on my team or Amin's team. So I want to introduce this whole team structure. If you don't know whose team you're on, myself or Amin will contact you. But we got this little baseball game going. So we're going to do this for the second quarter. So it's going to start this week, inclusive of the 29th, 30th, and 31st, and go till the end of May. So it'll be like a 12-week challenge. There's a prize at the end of the 12 weeks that we're excited to announce too. So we got the Team Hiroshi Sidewalkers and the Team Amin Cool Colors. We try to kind of come up with softball-like team names. And whenever you're in the business, you're cold calling, you're door knocking, think of yourself as like you're up to bat. Okay, so you don't have to be, we're called the Sidewalkers, and I would encourage you to be door knocking. But if that's not your gig, then cold call. You can go to cold calling, or you can go to this whole Craigslist incoming calls, or anything that you're comfortable with. But everyone's got an at bat, and so once the numbers are reported at the end of the week. We tally the score up, and then we have a winning team at the end of the 3 months or the 12 weeks. And we did this, if you've read, there's a book out there called The 12-Week Year. I'm getting through right now, and it's quite interesting. They say, if a company makes a goal for the year, they're not really going to work. They're going to start working in September just to achieve their goal. So their productivity isn't going to go up until they have to achieve it. So what the book is saying is it's like 140, and I can surmise it into like a paragraph, is if you chop down your goal into quarters, into 12 weeks, then you're more likely to be productive right off the first week, right off the get-go, in order to get your goal at the 12 weeks. So if you say, I want to add 300 people to my database, instead of adding 300 people to your database in a year, you're going to add 75 in 12 weeks. So you chop that down, 12 divided by 75, you're going to have 6 database adds a week. And so you're basically eating bite-sized chunks. And so we wanted to implement that into our softball game. So we basically count the bases and the home runs at the end of the week, and that's how we score ourselves. So you get to first base if you booked a buyer or listing appointment, which is one of our criteria in our Google Forms doc. So if you book a buyer appointment like Dylan has for Thursday, you're pretty much on first base. You began the process with a customer or client if you sign them. You hit a double if you get them into a binding contract. So that means a listing agreement or a exclusive buyer contract. Yeah, we'll chat about it soon, Dylan, but an exclusive buyer contract with an old friend might be a little bit awkward to bring up right off the bat. So you might want to be a little bit more delicate with that. But if it's a incoming call from Craigslist, I definitely want an exclusive buyer contract, because they can go anywhere after you've spent 30 hours with them. So yeah, you hit a double if you get a listing or a buyer signed contract. And again, you must report your numbers.
If it's not a buyer agency, exclusive buyer agency, that's okay. I want it to be basically, you guys have had a consultation that as you spend time building rapport, they're committed verbally to working with you, and you're like, if it's a sign call lead that you spend 10 minutes on, like Hiroshi and I was practicing, that's not exactly what's the likelihood of that converting into business, right? You need to have a consultation and sit down with them and earn their a verbal handshake or whatever that looks like, that you're going to do business together.
Yeah. Nothing beats like a face-to-face meeting in terms of closing ratios. Like it's such a must. Like private time, you and the buyer, you and the seller, at least half an hour, getting to know each other. Like, yeah. As far as commitment goes, nothing beats face-to-face time. A triple, so you're on third base if you get an accepted offer, buyer seller contract. Now we're seeing the paychecks roll in. Accepted offer, whether it's a subject sale or not, you've written a contract and both parties have signed off on it. And then home plate, congrats, you've removed subject, deal's affirmed, you have the deposit in, and that's a home run. And we count runs for this contest. Any questions? Was I unclear for any of it? Still a little bit murky. I get it.
It makes sense.
Cool.
Whose team am I on?
It was announced, but we'll do it again.
I didn't hear my name.
Oh, the first time around?
Yeah, I think I'm in limbo. I think Lynn and I were in limbo.
That might be it.
We're the ringers, that's why.
Yeah, you guys we'll make sure we go through the roster again. There's a few people when we first announced it, and then there's people that have actually done deals since that we'll continue to add on to. And so,
we might have to make some trades because there's two of you on one team, and we can't split you up. You're like the Sedin brothers. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, the prize. So the winning team is gonna have like a pizza and beer picnic at one of the Poco Parks. So great news is that we get to drink in Poco Parks now. So it'll probably be like Gates or the one around the corner here, and the coaches will sponsor it. So maybe the losing coach will pay for it to make it fun. But yeah, we'll have a pizza and beer picnic just to hang out, just talk shop and whatever. But that's only for the winning team.
And some bragging rights.
Yeah, and we'll have vegan, vegetarian, meatitarian pizzas. So hopefully everyone's needs are met.
Gluten-free. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun. But more importantly, I want you guys, the last part is that you guys know how many outs it takes to end an inning. So every week, if you guys aren't submitting your numbers, it's an out. So you have your teammates to hold you accountable. And I don't care if it's a 0. You guys still need to submit your numbers that we didn't have any database ads or conversations, just so we can keep track of that. And it's an acknowledgement that you're still on the team. Okay, so if you get 3 people on the team each week that do not submit their numbers, then that's considered an out. So that's 3 outs, I should say. So then your inning doesn't count. Does that make sense? So you guys have to hold each other accountable, and you'll have time. You just got to get it in before the Monday's class, before it starts. Okay? So.
Yeah, we get it. Like, life gets in the way, and we have busy weeks, and, you know, what are we doing this for if we don't go on vacation? So don't, like, hide if you have 0 weeks. Like, we just kind of want to know where your numbers trajectory is, because ultimately we want you to be more productive, sell more houses. And yeah. So if the numbers are reported and you have, you know, you're going on a ton of appointments, but you're not lead generating, so you're reporting 0s on the lead gen side, then we know that in a few months that you won't have those appointments anymore and listings to go on. So we just want to make sure all the numbers make sense. And, you know, on the flip side, if you're going on a ton of appointments, but you're not closing listings, then we know exactly what you have to work on, and we can script you and coach you accordingly.
Yeah, there's always a blockage in the funnel, and that's where these numbers, they don't lie, right? Like, I'm dealing with my team this week, and someone went out there and knocked. They had 12 conversations at doors and didn't get a single database ad. And I was like, all right, well, that's great. It's some really nice talks, but now you got to go back to the complex and get their information and follow up with them. So you really haven't done anything. Like, that wasn't a very good use of your time. And you're not asking for their contact info. You're not providing enough value to get them into your database. And that's step 1, right? And then you have another person went out and knocked expireds, but didn't turn any of that into a listing appointment, or didn't even have any good conversations. And so, like, we can figure out where the blockages are by you guys telling us your numbers, going over your numbers, and we can just, it's very easy for us to see it, but we can't see it if you're not submitting them. And like I said, if it's a 0, it's fine. Just submit it. Takes all 2 minutes to hit that form every week. And like, if you're going to be away, you're not going to be able to do it, just let us know. And then there won't be the out as well, because that way you just get permission from the coaches to say, I'll be away this weekend, I won't be able to do it. Great. That's fine. Go enjoy yourself. Go recharge. But just have your team help you keep each other accountable, and it's all part of it, right? And win together. So.
I guess as a coaching moment, like, when I hear someone knocking on a townhouse complex of 100, getting 12 conversations and no database ads, that person's one question away from getting 6 database ads, 6 email addresses or phone numbers. And that question is, if your neighbor sells, would you be curious to find out what it sells for? And that question has got me more email addresses than anything else. So if you're knocking on a townhouse complex and you're having these great conversations and people are open to talk to you, and you tell them you're a realtor, and then you kind of say bye-bye, it's like wasted time. Like, they're not, they have your business card that's going to go in the washer or the round bin, but they I would say they're one simple question away from creating that into a database ad. And that's, if your neighbor sells, would you be curious to find out what it sells for? And half the people will say, oh yeah, definitely, I want to know what the prices are for these townhouses. And then you can add them onto an auto email in Paragon.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one of the things I said as well was, like, you can get this into a survey script where you're asking about the complex, what their favorite parts are, what they like about the neighborhood, the amenities, shopping, the little secrets about the area. And would you like that information? When I compile that and I put that into a little the results of my survey, would you like that? There's a very easy way to, like, again, own your farm and just get everyone that you speak to into that database. So there's no right or wrong way, but you do need to build that rapport and let them trust that you're not going to spam them, right? So, and sending valuable information.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a couple of things you want to touch on real quick, I guess. Keep moving, man.
Yeah. Now, here's our shameless plug is, if you run into anyone who's in their first year of real estate, they're with a different brokerage, invite them onto this call. It's a value add. At the same time, you can grow your downline, your Keller Williams downline too. And so, if you get talking shop and then you find out that someone else is in real estate and they want to grow their business, or they don't know how to make their phone ring. Maybe they expected their phone's going to ring after they got licensed and it's not, and they could benefit from posting on Craigslist and everything. Bring them onto this call. Please do so. Okay. So last week we talked about our 411s. And so this is taking your annual goal. And so we wanted to drive this home and show you, what an example of a 411 is.
Did everybody get that? Do you guys get on that? Do people fill that out, what we sent? Do you guys use that? Anybody?
Was this emailed to us?
It was. It is emailed at some point during the 90-day campaign that I send out, but it was on the chat. We sent you links while we were in the class.
Okay, I wasn't here last week. Maybe that's why I didn't get it then.
Yeah, fair enough. It does come in the links as well, but it's also on the wiki site. There it is, 411s.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Please download these before you edit them, because if you edit them here, then everybody sees it. Like you're editing everyone's template. So go to this doc and then print it out or download it and then edit it.
Yeah.
But
I like to print it out, write it scratchy, and then I'll do it again and make it nice and clean like this version at the end. So I have some time to think about it, and it takes a little while to actually put these calculations in, and break it down and consider what your goals are, family, personal, all these other extra things too. So
yeah, but they are really powerful once you write down your goal and you're looking at it all the time. You can post this on your bathroom mirror or like in your office right behind the computer monitor or something.
Did you hear Mike Huber said last week, only 15% of people actually write down their goals as far as business owners are concerned, but 85% of those goals are reached. It's a good number. So take it seriously that when you write it down, it's very likely to come true. The more you share it, the more likely it is too. So be proud of it. Okay.
I'm waiting for access to temp license.
Yeah.
Alvin, do you have access to KW Connect?
Hey, not yet. I think I spoke to Carla a few days ago. I believe I have to get my temporary license before I get access to all that. So I'm kind of just sitting here, hands tied behind my back.
Gotcha. You might be able to just like Google 411 too, like 411 goals, and then just take a template. Like all it is it's a blank sheet, like spreadsheet
Yeah.
with annual goals, monthly goals, and weekly goals.
I think I can take it from the Google Docs that you sent just right now.
Okay. Okay. Right
I was just really asking. It looked like you pulled that from like a database full of other content that would have been.
Yes.
It looks like it could be useful. Yeah.
This is our wiki site. That's if you're in coaching, you have access to everything here, and it's Chris created this and have been working on it for a long time. It's got all the scripts that you need here.
And just to touch on something you said earlier, so being a new agent, I would reach out to Carol in terms of training.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, and Craig, I know it's your second call today. You just got licensed, so same thing. It's Carol's like your coach, and she'll walk you through the whole contract, like what everything means, and she's very patient, so she's very good.
Yeah, so she does Tuesday 10 till 12. Go ahead, Kurt.
I can hold off.
Go ahead, man. Yes, okay.
I was just going to say, Carol, as soon as I got my license, she called me within 1 day and went through the whole process. And so my first call is going to be actually tomorrow. But you will definitely get the call from Carol and a string of emails that will be crazy for the first week.
Yeah, it's a crazy business. It's that craziness just never stops, and there's never a dull day in real estate.
Yeah, it'll keep you on your toes, but there's lots of growth opportunity for sure. So Carol's class is 10 to 12 on Tuesdays, and since I'm speaking the calendar, I'm just going to reach out real quick. So offices are closed this coming Friday, so we won't do CMAs that day, nor power prospecting on Monday. Okay, they're closed Monday as well. So the next time we'll do CMA power prospecting on Friday the 9th. Okay. But there is a great objection handler class on Thursday, April 1st. So check out the calendar. It's all on there. I think it got emailed to you guys this morning, hopefully.
Our office is really education based, and we seek new agents who are also education based and like taking courses, and then in a few years, like there's courses that you can teach as well. So we have Annie Bridge, who was in her third year of real estate, and she was teaching a class called How I Survived My First Year in Real Estate. And so I think that's one of the great things about the office is that we're constantly being educated and educating, and we have panels going on every week, and I just think there's a lot to gain from it. It's a win-win. Yeah, we got a couple minutes left today. Anyone have anything they want to bring up? Anything?
I have a question on our teams here. We're still trying to figure out when to bring in an assistant, and the biggest issue, I've read the big red book. We've come from an experienced team where we feel like they failed with the assistant, like how they handled it. We don't want to pull someone in and waste their time as well. We want to hire that all-star. But it's kind of cart before horse issue, right? But at the same, like you start to get exhausted. Like the industry is is much, I think I've told you this before. I come from a project management background, but I think with any other job, you can leave on Friday and not really have to worry about it, where this just doesn't stop. So you're drinking from a water fountain, from a fire hydrant, sorry. And of course, the minute you stop, the money stops. So, we got to find a balance here. And I just don't know I just don't want to be underwater as well financially. So can't figure it out. Best time.
Yeah, there's no easy way to budget for it. You need to have the pipeline business in front of you, like consistent. And too many agents make this mistake of hiring, and then when you got this person doing your paperwork and marketing and back end stuff, they go golfing, right? And that's like, all right, finally I've earned the right to like relax a bit, put my feet up. But it's no, now you double down. Now you have time back in your schedule to lead generate more. Now you have time to go on more appointments and do those 5 key things, right? Follow up, lead gen, negotiating, all that stuff. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, you will be okay as long as you double down on your lead gen. You continue to prospect harder once you have that. And there's a responsibility. Now you have another mouth to feed. You have someone that is expecting a paycheck every 2 weeks, and they need that security. And it's not a light thing to employ people and have them maybe leave another job that they're really comfortable with. And the type of person that you hire typically needs that security, needs the benefits or whatever. So you got to be ready. You can't just sort of wing it and hope it works out, just to be respectful and responsible. But financially, you should have, at least 3 to 6 months of income put aside and their wages put aside for that. And it's a 90-day plan. I'm going to hire someone for 90 days. If they haven't helped me make more money, help me do more transactions, help me organize my database and get in these systems in place that I'm not good at doing anyway, because I'm the front of the house, then they're not a good fit. And that's okay to let them go at that point. It's a 90-day risk. It's not a year salary of $36,000 or $40,000 salary. It's a $9,000 to $12,000 risk. And if you come out of that, if you've got that 90 days in the bank, then I think it's time that you kind of start looking to hire. And it's very slow to hire, very quick to fire. That's there's a whole course on it that I've taken several times. Like, we'll take it again as soon as it's available, and I'll tell you guys more about it when it comes up. Yeah. And it's just taking the time to understand, is this person a good fit long term for my business? Are they the next CEO? Right? Are they we call it cul-de-sac talent or highway talent? Are they someone who's going to take me from A to L, or are they going to go from A to B if I push them? Right? And most people, unfortunately, are the cul-de-sac sort of, I'll go in and I'll do my day job and I'll phone it in and just I'll do what you ask me to do, but eventually start giving it back to you. And it's really hard to find those diamonds in the rough that are gonna just surpass all your expectations and pull you along with them, right? They create a wake. So, but financially, it's sort of your own personal situation. That makes sense? I'm Terry's teaching this stuff. Like she's really good at doing it, but we just have to pin her down to get a career visioning class out of her. When that comes, I'd say everybody should be taking that, even if you're new. The mindset stuff about how to look for talent, and then it should get you excited if you want to build a team. And this is the opportunity to start thinking in that direction of how to leverage. Because I'll tell you, as soon as you stop doing data inputs and like TRS sheets and all this other transactional crap that slows you down, and it's a $20 an hour job, and like your Craigslist posts that you could have someone doing this for you, and now your phone rings, right? Like, I got a kid in my office that does these posts for us, right? I pay him $16 an hour, and he loves it, right? But my phone rings from his $16 an hour, so go figure.
Well, I think the other, like for Lynn and I, we've gone through so many systems as well. And, we're going to transition out of Sync into Command solely and then do our own stuff. But I tell you, we've probably done 5 different systems, switch from another team, another broker. This is all within the last 16 months, plus learning the actual industry. So, like I was telling you before, you get like 4 listings, 10 buyers. I'm friggin' tired. So it's, it's great. like there's no, it's success. It's exactly what you hope for, but you're like, ugh.
There's a burnout. And I don't know, did you get on that call on Friday? Were you on that?
I wasn't, I don't.
Okay. It was just about balance. So it was, yeah. Anyway, you got to be careful, right? Because as you start to burn out, you'll end up creating like scar tissue type thing where you just, once you get stressed out, you can't stop this stuff. So you got to eat well, right? Your diet is actually really important. You got to exercise. Not everybody likes to, but if you don't do that, you put yourself in harm's way. And then you're not showing up your best, right? If you're drinking 3 coffees a day, you're rattled by the end of the day. If you're not eating a nutritional diet, you're really on a bad path. And again, I'm not trying to be your life coach here, but at the same time, you do need to be careful of what you're putting into this vessel that gets you through the day and how you treat it. And so, there's certain things around, taking time to yourself, even if it's 15 minutes, and just like decompressing, turning your phone off, getting away for 15 minutes in your day. Because this thing is addictive, and every time it moves, it makes you money. Buzz. Ooh, is that a new client? Oh my God. Ooh, right? But at the same time, at some point, like, got to take care of the people that you're working for and spend time with them too, right? So there's the balance. And it's never truly in balance. You're working too much, you're working with the family. You're working too much, you're with the family. And you just got to pick and choose, and there will always be more money. And one last thing I'll say to it is, they say that your business is rubber. Let's say you're always juggling 5 balls in the air. The other 4 are glass. Okay, your business is rubber. I can throw my business ball up in the air. If I don't catch it, it'll bounce back up. Because you know how to create business now, right? You got to go to work. Just knock doors and like just create business opportunities. But your health, your family, your finances, and your relationships are all made of glass. You drop any of those, you're getting divorced, you're going to the hospital, you're bankrupt, because right? And whatever the last one is. Anyway, they break. So that's the concept, is that it's okay to let your business go here and there and not overdo it. At the beginning, you got to create momentum. At the beginning, you got to put your head down. You got to work. There's no shortcutting this business. You have to put your head down. You have to create enough of a pipeline to feed you, and then you start working the right people and you start connecting, and it gets easier. But the first 6 months to 2 years is learning the language, scripting, there's like everyday role playing, just like there's no shortcutting that. And the faster you guys do that, the faster you script, the faster you earn the right to have conversations with people that go the right direction, because you scripted and role played daily, the more money you're going to make. It's really that simple. And that's what most people think, is that I'm going to wing this, and the conversation is going to go great, but it doesn't. You guys have had too many conversations, I'd say, at this point, that you're like, oh, if I'd only said that. Right? And I still do that to this day. I walk out of an appointment going, oh, I forgot to say that one thing. Like Hiroshi said, that one last question that gets the appointment, gets the contact info, gets them to sign the paperwork, whatever. So if you think it's not always sharpening your pencils, you're wrong. We're just working in a different gear. That's it. But right now, it's like, get prospecting and get scripting every day, and everything else will work out, I promise. For sure. Yeah, get on the R1, and we'll get you on these teams soon, Craig. And, look forward to it. We're excited to have you on. Anyways, if you guys have any questions, right now we've got a minute or so, but I'd say have a great week. Otherwise, enjoy your long weekend. Last thing, I sent it in Slack. Our team is doing Easter. So we're doing just a drive-through at the office, because we usually do an event and probably get like about 500 people out for an Easter event, and we just give out candies and chocolates to kids and have an Easter bunny. And last year it got screwed up, obviously, and this year it's still not perfect, but we're going to have the bunny and chocolates, and we're going to hand them out to all the kids driving through, waving at the bunny, and maybe even get out and take a photo with some distancing. Not exactly sure how that'll fly, but you're welcome to come. You're welcome to bring your family, your kids, if you have them. If you have clients or friends in Sphere that you'd like to invite out, you're welcome to as well. Just, I don't want you posting it on Craigslist or social media or whatever, inviting the public, just because that's what we usually do, and it's awesome because we get tons of new client business opportunities from it. But this is just COVID safe. We have to be careful about the volume, and really want to give it to our clients. But yeah, you guys are welcome. So please use that. You got the invite. If you didn't, let me know. Okay.
If you want to see Chris in a costume, in a bunny costume, follow him on Instagram.
Last year, I didn't know what else to do, so I jumped in the suit and I drove around to my clients' houses and gave their kids eggs in a bunny suit as my wife filmed me and made fun of me the entire time. They freaking loved it, and it sucked for a couple of days, but I know it made some really happy little kids, and it was like, what the hell, right? And now this year, the low guy on the totem pole gets to get in the suit. And so anyway, you guys are able to make it, let me know. I'll give you the rundown. We could always use some help anyways, setting up.
Yep. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a good week.
Have an awesome week. Go get
I
them.
have a couple of quick questions for the coaches, just 2 really quick ones before we log off. I just don't know who to go to do my taxes this year. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
in Poco?
Sorry?
Are you in Poco?
I'm in Pitt Meadows, but I don't really care where I go.
Tri-Cities? Yeah.
Okay.
Is Margaret Kovac still in business?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
No.
Gregory Yick, they're great. That's who I use.
Who?
Gregory Yick, Y-I-C-K.
Perfect. Thank you.
They're in Port Moody. You're probably not quite ready for a bookkeeper, and then when you are, they can have someone train you how to do your QuickBooks and that kind of stuff until then.
Mm-hmm.
So just makes it easy. They're
Awesome.
very good, yeah.
Great. And then I just needed to figure out what that rental website that you touched on the other weekend was called again.
Rentometer.
Rentometer.
Rentometer. Rentometer.
Right. Okay, great. That's all I needed. Thanks, guys.
Definitely. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
H, hang on a sec.
Yeah.
There you go. That was easy. I was going to ask you. I don't know. Are we getting Alan back next by the following Monday? Then we'll start the team stuff, I guess. But
we can start it now.
Yeah. It's just is he able to track?
One sec.
I don't know where the tracker is, man. I don't see people coming.
Can I call you in an hour? I'm like in this huge jam, and I might have fucked up last night, but then it's getting all fixed, and I just need my buyers to sign this contract, and then all my boo-boos are fixed. So
yeah. I don't have anything. I don't think it's anything important, actually, man. There's something, but I think we kind of covered it in the call. We're good. We'll see you on Wednesday.
You want to know what happened? Is there's like an old listing that was up, and we put an offer in, and they came back with a counter, and my guys were like, "Well, that's pretty good. Should we take it?" And I was like, "You sure you don't want to go back one more time?" And we did. We went back one more time, and then the sellers changed their mind. And they're like, "I think we're selling it for too low." And I was like, "Oh no!" And so like I couldn't sleep last night because of this whole like almost ego like move where I'm like, I think we can get a little bit like 15 grand more on like 1.5 mil. And then they just signed a recounter back. So I'm like, fuck, my mistakes are fixed.
So they just sent you the counter back. Okay, good.
So I just saw it now. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's get this going.
Don't wait. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks.
Cool. Okay, we'll go get him. Good luck. I'm sure it'll work out. I've done it.
Have you?
Yeah, and I try to ratify it by just like re-sign the original one. The guy's like, you can't redo that. I'm like, no, I know, but I'm just trying. I was hoping he wouldn't know, and then my buyer backed out anyway. So, but all right, man. Good luck.
Thanks, dude.
All right, dude. Talk soon. Bye.
See ya.